Yeah, you so do what you say. See what when I do what you say. What when I do what you say. Go do what you say. My Jesse, my fire. Ina my Jesse, my fire. My fire, my fire, my Jesse, my fire. See what do what you say. I say, yeah, you so do what you say. Give up, oh I know. I say, give up, oh I know. Oh I know. Give up, oh I know. I say, yeah, you so do what you say. My Jesse, fire, well. I say. Saguero, 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 saguero. I say, oh, saguero. I say, si no penade, uwo penade, si no penade. Ya you so do what you want. I say, papa do what you want. I don't know when you swallow. Ina ale brand you swallow. Kila paina, ponyo ke ye pana were. Ya baba do wa ya ba. I say go when I do wa ya ba. Go when I do wa ya ba. I say mama Jesse mama ya o. Mama Jesse mama ya o, mama ya o, mama ya o, mama Jesse mama ya o nywa. Si go do wa ya ba. I say ya you so do wa ya ba. Mama Jesse fire well. Ina mama Jesse fire well. Mama Jesse fire well. I say I use to do whatever. Oswo. Aswe. Moye Jesse yo. Ina moye Jesse yo. Si wo fire yo. Everybody monawe. Si wo fire yo. Asa boy brown. Everybody monawe. Si wo fire yo. Can you stop my idea? Say Jesse boy, wanna say Jesse boy, say Jesse boy, can you stop my idea? Wanna mo Jesse we play yo, Jesse boy my idea. As a boy brown, I hear Jesse we now. As a boy brown, I know it. Oh, I know it.
Good evening. This is Alfonso Zayanso with Liberia Public Radio, and this is All Things Considered right here to the voice of Minister Alice Newman, filling away right here this evening. Good evening. Welcome to the show. This is All Things Considered.
Mama Jesse mama yo. Abi mama Jesse mama yo. Mama Jesse mama yo de. Si go do what you say. Aba go bena do what you want. Boy, as a boyfriend, Papa do what you want.
What beautiful music right here, gospel music here. Let's turn this law over the law of lies, deceit, hypocrisy. Let's turn it over. Let the Lord take it. We want to welcome Mr. Jeremy Roberts, Amandu Pay. Thank you so much for joining us here this evening. This is the Diaspora Informative News Outlet. Fair balance, quality is better than quantity. Welcome to the show. I'm Alfonso Zayanso. Welcome, Sekuta Kamarata, Mana Eknes Fenda Samukata. We want to take this law off our hair because these people will rely on them, they can't do it. Let's turn this law of deceit, hypocrisy, corruption, all of the bad behaviors, let's turn it over to the law. And so says the songwriter Alice Newman. Is a Liberian gospel artist based in Baltimore area there. We say good evening to welcome Mr. Atot, a good JOT, just on time. We want to welcome all our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you for joining us yet. As usual, I'm Alfonso Z and so with the rest of the panelists. They will be here in momentarily, but notwithstanding, you are here. So you are the principal player. You are the main actor of this episode, this show here tonight. If you are here, trust me, I'm just cool with everything. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. This is LPR. I am your host in Angola, Alfonso Zenso, right here from the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. That is ungoverned Prince Johnson to refuse statement what that means. Overall, the clock is eating. October is decision day in Liberia. Welcome to the show. Good evening, good evening. We want to say welcome. I'm Alfonso Z and Salt of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV right here this evening. It's a beautiful, nice weather here in the East Coast. I'm not sure from your end, but hopefully everything is just fine as well. Let's get a conversation going. Too much is ongoing. This is the sound that introduces the program. All things considered, Wednesday edition. To welcome my man, Emon Sama, right there in UK. The commitment of the folks here in this network here is just so amazing. The way the guys here, the way they organize, the way they are on time, the way they take their country so seriously. Hopefully our politicians were in that situation. Trust me, we're going to be good. See, there comes Mr. Madison himself. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending where you are. I am Alfonso Z and so. Good evening. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you for sharing your morning to your afternoon to your evening with us for the good of Liberia. Your commitment to this network, overall to your country, is just so amazing. I wish the politicians are fully aware how Liberians, the zeal, their ego, how they want to see their country to develop based on their experiences traveling to worldwide developed countries. Nothing is impossible. And so we are all committed, we are all in this fight to make sure the right thing is done. Let us not allow our own self-political ego to supersede the interest of the country. Because when that happens, everything goes down the hill. Because then it's just about you, just about me. And I don't care how the next person feels, the next neighbor, whether he or she is getting the little daily meal that is required. And this is why this election is so much consequential, very much important. I don't know any other word to deploy to give the nomenclature for which all of us should claim our attention, our role, our responsibility. It is our job to make sure that there's free, fair elections, and that those that are still sitting on the fence because they feel betrayed by their leaders or people who they confide in and give them their political confidence voted for them. For some other reason, you turned away other than some are still saying, you know what, I am not voting. It is time to reach out to those folks. Because trust me, if you don't vote, whatever decision that will be made by those who will be voting, it does have an impact on you. So make your voice count. And this is why we always try to do on this network, to empower people. Take control of yourself. Yes, you can even have what I call the political leaders or someone that you trust in. That is okay. But leave a vacuum, leave a room. Thereby, you can make decisions of your own, despite of your loyalty, your support. The politicians are very calculative, very strategic in getting things done. And it's all about interest. And that interest necessarily not the interest of all of us, or even you are in the vanguard to support such a person. And this is why they can somersault anytime, any hour, 360 degrees. That's their job, that's their career, that's their profession. The decisions is based on what will be happening now and their potential, how they will be benefited. You can give your financial support, your moral support. You can be on air 247 around the clock. But when it requires them to make their political decisions, for them to get their political survival, they will blind their eyes and they come back and begin to give excuses, political correctness, why they are making those decisions, knowing what they know now. And suddenly they come back to apologize, but then it is late. This is what we always told you on this network. And we give you the authority to challenge what we will be saying, to engage us, to express your views, your opinion, as long as in a safer context. Civility in modern society paved the way to better understanding and for us to get to a point. Insult, there's nowhere in society, in world, even in our own regular lives, at home, workplaces, anywhere you find yourself. The reason the civilized people call conference meeting is for us to express our views, our opinions, our discontent, things that we feel that impede our progress, or things that we feel that violate our basic human rights. They don't insult. I can go to Aliyu, I'm going to punch you in the head. When I tell Aliyu I'm going to punch you in the head, do you think Aliyu is going to come to a negotiation table for us to have a conversation? A quiet Liberian guy. I love this name. I hope this name reflects what you're going to be doing here. Don't mind me. If we agree, if we allow ourselves to sit around the conference, we see that worldwide. Why do you think there's a United Nations? All of these disputes and crises are ongoing. The reasons of the conference is meant to look at and find the borderline. Not necessarily to find a remedy, but they will discuss and figure out as to what they can do. They don't say, okay, the people are fighting, so let us lead them, or we ourselves are going to say, yes, that could be the final result when all else fail. So at this time, whether you support Gonglo, whether you support Dr. George Weah, whether you support Ambassador Boyka, whether you support Alexander Benedict Cummings, Dr. Monimba, and all of those great sons and daughters that have stepped forward for the love of their country in that context, I wish to put it, because it's a sacrifice, it's an ultimate gamble. They knew what they're getting into. Let us have a conversation with them. What we should not do is to allow their interest to supersede the interests of the country called Republic of Liberia. Because you know why? These politicians, they will fade away. They will leave the stage. How many presidents we have had since the established, since the foundations of the Republic of Liberia? How many ministers of state? How many ministers of information? How many managing directors of the Liberian Petroleum Refining Company? They are come and gone. Some are alive, some dead. But guess what? The corporations are still standing. So the greater integers of all of this talking we can be doing with headache, and for which you commit your time so much to Liberia, it's not because of these corporations, it's to have a better Liberia for you and myself and the unborn generation. All of these proliferations of political parties, we even start from the 80s, and even come from in the 2000s or so. Are they still all active? Do they all have established institution functioning? Absolutely not. But guess what? The Republic of Liberia is still standing tall. And so that should be at the back of our heads, at the back of our mind. It should be our face cap. Where is Dr. Jabro Kalon? The great instructor Gabriel Boulay? Where are they today? Tuare, where are those people today? There's an end time to these people. They are faded away. Some are dead. They did what they could do. But Liberia is still standing. That should be the vertebrates of our conversation. Do not put all you have into these people. I'm telling you. Some of you get a perfect experiences and more than all of us. There were some people that you confide in, you trusted, you put in your resources, your energy, and your time. At the end of the day, that's not bust to put you under the truck, literally. But by the grace of God, you are still surviving. The trust and confidence you had in those people has diminished or faded away completely. What they promised you, what they said they were going to do, they did not. It's all about interests. That's what politics is all about. And that's why politicians take risk. And then they come back to their supporters and give justifications of their action. How many days today for us to have a presidential and legislative elections? Two major branches of government simultaneously. Two branches. The first and the executive. How many weeks to go? How many months to go? What is the conversation within the corridor now? Is it sufficient? Am I doing enough? Are you playing your part? Are they playing their part? Are they telling us what they will do? Or is it just a face value charade they are telling us because we are not holding them accountable? And because you back their actions? Is it because you support her or you support him? You're undercutting or you compromise the interest because you don't want us to ask your political leader the name that was coined from the 1955 elections. That's how they try to solidify their political grip, political leader, to give themselves absolute power. My political leader, my political leader. Some of them don't even go to convention as it should be. Some of them being chairman, they being party leader from time to time. They are not giving way to the new generation. They see it as an entitlement. Politician. Any politician who says that it's all about themselves. A good politicians will say we because they want that inclusiveness. Not the liberal type of politicians that we have on this network. Not the liberal type. All you hear from this liberal is I. And this is how they want to lead this country. We've got to be aware of those who are trying to rewrite the history of Liberia. So the question becomes, who is really the problem in Liberia? Is it the chief executive, the citizen rate, the advocates, the journalists, John Delays, and those soundbites, rare meat, kitchen sink guys? I. It's about themselves. No country can build in that direction. Something Councillor Tiawongonglo is doing is it touches my inner part. Am I giving 100% conclusions of who or what his leadership style going to be there? I have not reached to that point. But the resilience, the resolve to go to people of his opponent and smoke a political peace pipe using their slogans is extraordinary. Calling for election integrity. I'm not going to be talking about election going to be right here. I'm giving these people the tools to create a vacuum. Let's trust them. But we will verify. Let's ask all of the questions. Let's engage them if we have apprehensions. That's what the political organizations should be doing. Let an empty all on the table. Time check here in the East Coast is 8:23. This is All Things Considered. Welcome to the show. Associate of the Liberia Public Radios and LPR-TV. Joining me from the liberal state is the most liberal on this network, the I politician. The I politicians. There are some who have their parties and their parties need them at this time, but they are seeking refuge with other parties without then asking why this guy is leaving his party. Trust me, 2029, another group of political institutions, they will come again. Let me bring in the Liberal. I don't want to make him to feel that I'm here to sanction his voice this evening. The Liberal, good evening and welcome.
Thank you, Mr. So. Thank you, and we're here again tonight to be the counterweight of your conservative ideas, and we will do our best to check you and make sure your conservative idea does not take the day, so to speak.
What I mean?
I'm simply saying I'm here. You being the conservative, far right conservative on this network, and I being the independent-minded liberal here on this network, I will make sure that your ideas and your criticism of those who do not deserve it, we will make that point, and without any kinds of fear whatsoever. You can bring in any other conservative on with you, and the liberal is here as a counterweight. I've always been a counterweight.
Did I hear you say you're working on pending?
Mr. So.
Okay, Malik Jones, your patron Malik Jones is joining me. The guy, look, this network here, we got to be very careful. People, you have something to within the our politician. You have Malik Jones here, the Amos Sawyer type of whatever politician who wants to bring back capital punishment. They want to bring back those sort of Idi Amin type of authoritarian rule. People should not speak out under the gabble of enforcing the law. Let me bring in Mally Jones here this evening. I'm not sure whether his position will ever change on this. Well, Jones Octavius Mally, Sonians is a senior analyst of the Liberia Public Radio. Are you still an independent guy? You're an independent guy, or have you make a pick now already? We don't even know where you stand one day. I'm not sure whether you are in the school of thought with the liberal now, because you don't talk to me nowadays. All your phone calls now are directed in Sacramento, California. Good evening. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
And how are you, Mr. Thor?
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. I'm here.
There you go. He never calls my name, but he calls his patron Mr. Toe. That's the language. They are people of the same caliber, same political wagon. So, okay, it doesn't matter. I know the Liberian people are on my side. Gentlemen, good evening. Happy Wednesday. Today is All Things Considered, and as usual, we're going to allow our viewers, our listeners, and followers. They are the people. It is because of them we are here. I'm not going to be, guys, I'm not going to be like the liberal who will sanction your voice. If you call, don't talk about this party, don't talk about this person. I'm not a guy. You have the right to align me with any political party based on my tone. You have the right to do that. And I will never sanction you. So tonight, you are really in safe haven. But beware, when liberal is on, your speech is limited. Guys, good evening. Welcome. Let me start with a guy from Sacramento, the most liberal on this network. All things considered. Unbelievable time, Mr. Tote. A couple of months ago, we were talking about the election will be so. But see where we are right now. See where we are. What are you considering? What is in your folder?
I think the election on this government, President Weah, I think the election will go on freely. But I like the engagement aspect of the election commissioners, the ECOWA community, engaging the political leaders of the different parties, so that they will be able to hopefully be on the same page. But Honorable Cummings then decided, quite frankly, which is quite correct, and say, I'm not going to say I don't want to attend, but this is not about Kumbaya here. It is about the right of the Liberian people. And he pointed out very quickly, how it seemed to me that the government of the Republic of Liberia under President Weah is biased in their selection of these election commissioners, because the election commissioners have always, according to the article, have always been people, the opposition under President Salif, the opposition, including President Weah when he was in the opposition, give a name for people from his side. He selected a few people to be appointed, including the current chairman of the election commission. Now, time comes now. They don't want to do that. They want to make sure they have the people they want. And so Kumi is saying, look, we're not stupid around here. The last time when we were in the same type of situation, you, President, you brought in people, and the government of the Republic of Liberia accepted those that you brought in. Now it's our turn now for you to allow us to appoint people on this commission. You don't want to do that. You want to keep the people. So the election commission itself is putting them on notice to say, look, we're watching. We're not stupid around here.
So this is why you're good at. You have taken the multiple positions out from your intro just to go to little few seconds. You now taking a back walk again. So what are you saying now, the liberal? Where do you stand?
I stand. It doesn't matter where I stand. I'm just telling you what is happening. And let me repeat myself, Mr. CDC. Let me repeat, because right here, I see here, IE number 9, that's the first thing he did. Hi, Mr. So, welcome back to the show. Who told you Mr. So ever went anywhere? Now you're going to come here, IE number 9, and he got all the yellow color behind his self. Now the people are coming here to praise him. That's not going to fly here tonight. And Mr. So, what I'm saying here, Kuming is saying, they're going to have a meeting tomorrow. that the election commission and some member of ECOWAS community will be having a meeting tomorrow with the oppositions in Liberia, including the political leader of the standing government. Now, Kumi is saying to them, I am not against meeting, but we must be truthful with each other, because just right now, he says, and I'm paraphrasing, that during the last election, when Honor President Salif, when President Weah was then, Ambassador Weah, who was then the opposition leader, was allowed to select somebody to sit on the election commission. Now, it is the time President Weah is serving as president of the Republic of Liberia, but will not allow the opposition to select somebody to be on one of the commissioners to be on the election commission. That is a red flag. And I think Kumi is just saying to the people, we're not stupid around here. We know exactly what you're trying to do. You want this election commission to be in your favor. And I'm paraphrasing, please. So they're going to have a meeting. But Kumi has already stood up, put his hand up in the class and said, here I am. I like that.
Okay. I like the conversation, how it's going tonight, uninterrupted. We're going to, because we got to be very, very respectful to our audience. They are here for the purpose, none that they don't have anything to do.
But just remember this, Mr. So I am not here for kumbaya here. So don't try to wrap that audience business around my neck when I'm making my point. Don't think, say, I'm going to sit down here and look for friendship because I'm making my point. I just want you to get that clearly.
Are you going to the meeting tomorrow?
Mr. So, the Liberal don't have to be there. The Liberal is fully represented. The Liberal, okay, the representative from my camp will be there, and they will not allow you and the CDC to steamroll us. We will not do that.
Okay. That's fine. Mali.
Yeah.
Let me bring you in here. Let's look in your portfolio. What are you considering, and what other things that it's so vital that we need to talk about, and we can have our audience so participate. You listen to the deliberate analysis. Are you on board with him?
No, I'm not on board with the Liberal on that particular issue.
Why? And what's your side of the story?
My side of the story here is that Kumi and the rest of the front runner were not living in space. They were not living in heaven when His Excellency appointed the election commissioners. They were all around. None of them went for vacation at that particular time. So it behooves me at this particular time, we are not saying we try to doubt the neutrality of the election commission at this particular time, at the 11th hour. I think it's a waste of energy. We will have to live by any conclusion that comes forth. We just passed an oath last night on this platform, and it came in the form of expectation.
Okay, so quickly here, I intend not to interrupt. Was this guy here last night during the conversation, the Liberal?
He was here last night, and we threw some of these same questions to him about his expectation. In fact, he decided to murder the whole thing because it was at the 11th hour and was shutting down. Now he's coming back now. He been around. His eyes were open. He visited Liberia on numerous occasions. The front runners, the opposition, they're all over the place. When we are even attempted appointing a Nigerian to head this thing here. Until the horse, not even the opposition, the horse said, no, we can't go that path. Which of the opposition, including Joseph Boakai, even took a stand with the House Not one. Now, these guys have been performing. They have been having some bad record from the census day up to today. Now we get 11 hours to electing a president for the Republic of Liberia. Then the Liberal is coming from the back. It said there are too many sand on the beach now. There are no space for additional sand. We got to live by the result that is going to come from this election commissioner. We will have to live by it, because there's a saying that if it means the 5 million people to get themselves engaged into another war, and about 500,000 then go in exile and some be killed, if it means that will happen, all because we want to put Georgia in power. I would prefer Georgia go to power or seek power and go back to the mansion than the 5 billion people get in trouble and they have to be refugees somewhere else. I would prefer for Georgia to become president for that to happen. Thank you.
This guy, you know, they get a saying that say the bamboo that want to die, it can't hear whistle sound. When the hunter goes in the bush, they will be right under that tree. They will take that going and be blowing bamboo there, doing his stuff. The liberal will every day he expose his weakness, his unbalanced positions in his own word, not me. He said those words right here. He's unbalanced, he's unstable, he's involved. Any politician who uses this sort of word, unbalanced, unstable, he's involved, it's all about himself. And I like what Sister tweeted on the last few. Liberal, let me ask you, when those people were appointed by the president, where did they go before they get to those positions?
Thank you very much, Mr. So, you know, being a liberal does not mean that I am isolated in other whatever that is happening in Liberia.
I ask you a simple question.
This is what you do, and this is what you do, and you think you're going to throw off the liberal because he has a brilliant idea that perhaps you think now you're in trouble tonight. But let me just give it the IE people, the CDC people, they can't help you because they are unable to face me. CDC can't face me. So you come in here, you come here, but I'm trying to make a point. I'm trying to make a point, and you try to interject to try to throw me off my point. It's not going to happen. Mr. So let me repeat myself. The liberal, the fact that I'm a liberal does not mean that I operate in isolation. Now, the government of the Republic of Liberia, duly elected, this is not a banana republic. We have one president at the time. And so the opposite, Mali is talking about saying, I don't know what are nuclear town saying.
Will you please address my question, please? Why you all over the place? I ask you a simple question.
You're not going to tell me how to answer your question. Let's get that straight. The liberal is not going to be bamboozled in allowing you to say, answer my question. I'm not, court of love. What? Because I'm sitting on a high chair doesn't mean I'm a witness on this courthouse of yours tonight. Let's make that clear, Mr. So. Look, you're not going to tell me how to answer. I will answer the liberal. I will answer my own way. Let me put it in the real liberal way. I will answer the way I know how to answer, yeah? Okay. Now, we have one president at the time. Liberia is the Constitution Republic. The Mali is talking about plenty saying. Well, I'm not too sure whether that nuclear town saying or that West Point saying he's talking about. I'm not too sure. Or maybe beyond the mansion saying. I'm not too sure what kind of saying he's talking. But whatever saying he's talking about, the point that I'm making, the point Comey has made. First of all, you guys should be very grateful to the opposition for trusting this government to do its work. They didn't say anything because I believe that they trusted the government to carry out a function which any other government, previous government had carried out. In an election, you allow the opposition to appoint people and accept it President, we did it.
You know what?
Now, Mr. So, it's time now that the third president, we are going to do that. He hasn't done that. And Kumi has putting him on record, and Kumi is also putting himself on record. So whether Liberian people like Malis or you agree with Kumi or not, it doesn't matter. The point is, Kumi has made that point, and I'm saying it here tonight, putting every one of us on record, showing case. So you will say the liberals say. Now, your question here, Mr. So, I'm not going to characterize your question, but let me answer it like this here. That's not your business. Whether people were, whether people are not in, whether they were there, they were not there. That's not your business. All we know, we're here now. I'm not going to go back to when they nominated people and they brown bag brown envelope representative and senator approving somebody. They've after taking bribes and stuff like that. That's the one you want me to come and answer here? I'm not going to do that. All I can tell you, we are here now. And Kumi is saying to you and many other sedition, many other opposition, that we are not stupid. We're watching. Mr. So, the liberal is here. He's not going nowhere.
What a shameless answer. I gave you the opportunity to defend your position, and you were all rubbing all around, working, trying to find words to mend together because you do not have anything to tell us, to tell even the audience to convince them. You should be ashamed of yourself. Honestly, these people are appointed, and I agree with Mali. These people, the president of the country has the constitutional authority to appoint. These appointments are subjected to confirmation by the first branch of government. So are you telling us now, less than what, 70 some more days to election, they should what? Appoint new commissioners? Is that what you're talking about?
Mr. So,
that's what you're saying. No, this is hold on 1 second. So hold on.
However you interpret my definition, it's
I'm not interpreting. I'm giving you a precise interpretation of what you're saying, and the audience, you cannot
hang on to the audience to
when you're talking, I didn't talk.
It's not gonna happen.
When you were talking, I didn't talk.
Okay, go ahead.
Every day, every evening, every night, when you're in your nice African suit, for you to come and have a nice, good, proportional conversation, you will always expose your weakness. And that weakness is also you helping these opposition to do that. If not all of them, most of us, the one that you support. Now, it makes me to come to the point how weak the opposition, some of them, how weak they are. They accept anything that comes in their way because they always want to. They are not willing to take a risk, even at their own detriment, not to talk about the country. All of these things here, and Mali lay out fair. All of these things been ongoing. People, auditors, this and that. Opposition should be the force driving to hold government feet to the fire. But all you do, you're out like this little chihuahua, everything noise,
that's exactly what Kumi has done.
Hold on.
Kumi has done exactly what you suggested.
And then the next day, you'll go to bed and you think that's it. Look, we don't have time for that. We don't have time for that nonsense. Our focus now is for this election to go ahead. All you are doing now is like a guy who is drowning, trying to grab anything he thinks he can grab. And when he can grab it, he must submerge underwater with somebody else. That's what you are doing. You are drowning now. So what is the position are they carrying to ECOWAS? ECOWAS is just facilitating this because they want to have a conversation. But it's so sad for you to push down, for these people to sit down there months after months. They went to confirmation, they are being confirmed, they put all of the things, they have been facilitating under the process. Say you've been going to a meeting and then to counter, you can't tell us you need to have somebody. Are you killing me?
So are you saying because it happens and they didn't say anything, does that negate the fact that if Kumi, the liberal is on the floor? You said here that you're talking, I shouldn't talk. Now it's my turn. So please, let the liberal have his turn to express himself.
No,
I told you already.
It's Malice.
We're not recognized. This is a forum that has a decorum. Yes.
You are not recognized.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Go ahead.
Despite buying our new boxing glove around here, we still will have to maintain the rules. What we are seeing here is that the opposition have helped subconsciously help His Excellency George Weah to win this election. The opposition, George Weah victory is not based on his popularity or based on the campaign he's doing right now. 50% of George Weah election, success came already from the opposition. In four area of the opposition support mechanism. The fragmentation alone has given George Weah more than 30% vote. And the United Party failure to even include other party to fight George Weah is a victory for George Weah. It's a victory for George Weah. The Liberty Party fragmentation and now they scatter all over the place. It's almost 20% victory for George Weah. All right. So what we're seeing here is that the liberal will have to understand. I don't know at what point he has decided to start beating the victory drum for the ANC. I don't know whether this is a miracle. Then I think he should be speaking for His Excellency Joseph Boakai. I know where Joseph Boakai is sitting right now. He's annoyed. He definitely annoyed right now.
You can't have Mali. You can't have this guy to be in a surrogate. You can't because he's
if we're going to be jumping all over here, then I might have to jump in.
Mr. Toll, despite the new glove we all bought to wear for the boxing exercise, the rules, there are still rules. And I need to be protected by the moderator, please.
Go ahead, Jones.
Thank you.
What? You guys are killing me tonight. I need to be protected. Go ahead, Joe. You're protected. My goodness.
All right.
I'm ready for help. Go ahead, Joe.
Yes.
Go ahead, Mali. I hear you.
Because
excuse me, Mali.
Go ahead. Let's go. It's
all
all yours tonight.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr.
Yes. I actually been taking note, a very serious note on the liberal when it comes to his advocacy and the direction he directing his advocacy. Today, it seems to be like a political miracle is taking place. Now he has redirected his political miracle to the ANC leader for taking a very, very good stand. But my question to the liberal is that I think he was making a mistake. I think he meant to say Joseph Boakai. I think so. I stand to be corrected. And if the answer is no, then we need to question the liberal patriotism as a sympathizer to Joseph Boakai.
Let me disabuse you and Mr. Soul, please, very quickly. I'm not going to take long. I'm not going to take long. Here is what you both of you need to know. As a liberal, I keep saying it here. I do admire Ambassador Boakai, but if President Weah, Honorable Kumi, and Councillor Gonglo, if they say something that I know is beneficial to the Liberian people, I will stand for it and I will publicize it. I don't have to be, it doesn't have to come from Ambassador Boakai for me to say this. The press, you two, I'm amazed to hear the kind of argument you two are making. Even though the rule is being violated, but the fact that because it was violated earlier on and nobody made any comment, therefore, don't say anything now. The rule is violated. Let's stick with the violation. Is that what you guys going to have Liberia do in democracy? Unacceptable with the liberal. Now, let me say this again. Even though the people didn't say whatever your argument is, A violation of a rule is a violation of a rule. Now, I'm not too sure if President, we are going to correct this. That, for me, it doesn't seem like that's what Cummings is driving at. I believe what Cummings is saying is by putting every one of us on notice and on record to say, here are the rules that Ambassador Weah, when he was running in the opposition camp, he went by this rule. This is the rule that was applied to him. Now, he's now here as president, but he now thinks this rule is no longer applicable to all of this process. And Cummings is saying this is wrong. If this is practice, then Liberians should be prepared that there will not, this election is not going to be fair and transparent. Now, the point here is this. It doesn't matter what time it is. It doesn't matter how. As long as Cummings is making that point, we should all gravitate towards that and make sure if President we have the ability to do it, let him go ahead and do it now. What's wrong with that? This has nothing to do with my liberal behavior or my liberal attitude, what have you.
Yeah,
But I respect the rule and law, and Liberia is not a banana republic, and we must not treat it as such. You and Mr. Mali and Mr. Mr. Mali, that you're saying you're bringing from New Town, it will not come to executive mansion. Executive mansion, we will not got saying behind the executive. Don't bring that saying in front of the Capitol building. Okay. Don't bring that saying in front of the executive mansion. We're not going to take that kind of saying. What kind of business is it? You and Mr. Want to throw Gary tonight? What unacceptable.
Oh my God! Wow, this guy. Hold on. I'll try to get this. Oh boy.
I can assist you. You put my number up. I can help you.
Yeah, that can do. Caller, are you hearing me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, much better. Okay, good. I'll put your number up as well. Okay, what's your name and where you calling from?
This is Cesar Goya from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Oh, the legendary Cesar Goya. Good evening.
How are you doing? And my brother Mali and the Liberal, how you doing?
Okay, just hold on. Let me put somebody else there, then you can carry on, Cesar.
Mr. George is here as well.
Okay, Cesar, go ahead.
First of all, the Liberal.
Yes, sir.
It is very sad that we support people who want to be president of the Republic of Liberia that keep shooting themselves in the legs. And I'm talking about Alexander Cummings. You cannot sit down and allow the president to appoint, which is his right, and you allow the legislature, the Senate, to confirm, which is their right, without advocating, without using political influence to see how you could deny some of those people. I remember there was one of the commissioners that went out there and one of the senators was asking her if she can go Fufubu. And we all sat here and laughed. And the ANC did not see that as a problem. After the Liberian Senate has confirmed people, this is when you come to start yelling foul play. I am disappointed in ANC and Cummings, and I'm disappointed even in my brother Mali yesterday. I talked to her at the same Cummings problem with the $70,000. We have to speak truth to power. The ANC was not just founded yesterday. They have been in existence. They had a lot of involvement in a pressure group to bring back our money to the June protest to get George Weah to resign. We did all of that to the Wambodiki event, where opposition governors, the great governors, that he was not Liberian and he could not hear a trusted branch of Cummings. We did all that. That now Cummings one can complain in the middle of the game, change the referee for what reason? So I really don't agree with that piece. I think Cummings is being ill-advised, every time over and over. When you are new to a game, you don't pick a bunch of newbies to be your coaches. That's the problem. If you're new to the game, pick veterans to be your coaches. The next thing is my brother Mali, the radical Democrat. Where we coming from now saying after yesterday one of the kid people was stealing money, so then now you say Joe will be president, and that will be the reason why we're not getting people from money, violate the law. Yesterday one of the kid people Today now you okay so we are just for peace sake. Let come from there. I wasn't going to call, but when Mali decided to use data to say 20% of LP support your we are, and this percent. I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out, Mr. Mali, where did you get your data from that tells you these percentages? Because for me, I want to know, right? We can't be lying to the people. We can't be giving misinformation to the people. You can say a lot of people will vote, more people will vote, and even give us the data, but to start quoting 20% of Liberty Party and this percent of this, I really want to see where you got our data from. That is my input.
Okay, Mr. Goya, you want to stay on? That's fine. I have a few people here because stay on because Liberal sent me text and say he did it on purpose just to get you in here. So just stay on. Okay, let me go to this number 203.
Can you take IE number 9?
Hold on 1 second. Yeah. Take somebody. Let me just. Is he on there with you?
IE number 9. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, and then I'll come to 203.
IE number 9. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
Hello?
Go ahead. I think Mr. So can hear you. Mr. So can you hear you?
Good evening, welcome. Yeah, go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah. I can hear you. Let me make a comment quick about. Let me make a comment quick about Cummings, statement or comment that he made about the election commission. I don't know. I stand to be corrected. I don't know whether the president is supposed to include, people from all over the place on the election commissioner and stuff like that. I believe everybody on the election commissioner is qualified. They are not all seditious. They don't all support the president. But that's the kind of politics Kwame believes in. Kwame is the kind of person who will stay back and throw a stone and want for everybody to go and fight over that stone. He does that all the time when he comes to the States. Get people, pay them to run propaganda against the government and stuff like that. That's the same thing he's doing. This same Kwame man was chairman of the CPP. All these same people that are on the election commissioner.
Let's put time on it. We have other folks on the line here.
There when the CPP won all the positions. Okay? And nobody took those positions from them. Nobody did. But today he's coming up talking about because it's a presidential election, so these people are not capable or they are not, they will be biased and stuff like that.
Okay.
Look, Mali can go on with all his censor stuff, all his this and that. Mali don't have to prove that. Even the censor guy.
Mali is on your side. Mali is on your side.
Okay, no, he's not on our side. He's not on our side.
Okay.
If you listen to the comment that he's making, he's not on our side. He's not on our side. So, no, I just wanted to say that. That they shouldn't cry foul now because the election is not even done yet.
Okay.
Let me come to the other folks.
Taking another call. So
guys,
you can call back. Okay, thank you, Aaron.
It's Galat your name is too high. GQ, I would say G to the third power. The number is there 682-433-8802. Okay, let me come to the number here. The phone numbers here. 203 number 9037. Are you there, caller?
I'm here, bro. So there's Wilton Keta.
Oh, Keta, how many numbers you get?
That CDC now. That's CDC.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Then maybe I have to probably have 9. Okay, go ahead, Keta.
Yeah, I'm listening to my own papa. So I'm listening to all the comments. Let's be honest here. When people are drowning, they will find everything in our water and anything that comes to them can be a leaf or dry leaf. They will try to hang on it. Here's the thing. This president went through all of the legal processes. He didn't violate no constitution. He appointed the legislature that has the opposition, the ruling establishment, and every concerned citizen in that house. Approve of those people to serve on the commission. Why are they crying foul now? Why? Are they saying that, to win the election is impossible? to win President Weah is impossible. So they try to put red flag out there. So right after President Weah is a non-president, they will say we told us he cheated. Why are they trying to milk the water right now? They are not confident in themselves. They say they're going to win first round. If you want to win first round, you're confident, go in there with open mind. You don't have to start crying foul right now. Talk to your constituents. Talk to the people out there. Talk to the voters. Tell people you are the best candidate. Stop lying on people. Stop making the country look like all the election president we have had during his term. The 6 years. Nothing like cheating. When he lost to opposition, we congratulated them. Why will it come to this election that he will want to cheat? Cheat for what? This man is still popular. You see it. This I will not be like. I'll be honest with you. I will not be like other civilians, or I will not be too ambitious to say this will be a one-term or round for President Weah. One round victory for President Weah. But I know victory is certain. I know victory is certain because I see what he has done. I see what the people still doing to him when it comes to his likability. So it's kind of crazy at this time for people to start crying foul. We're in the middle of the game, almost time to blow the whistle to start again.
Okay.
Start crying foul. Going to ECOWAS to do what?
Okay, Ketel, you can stay on the line as an analyst here. Let me come to the other folks here, and I'll be going to Amos Joyce to bring it. Terry, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Mr. So.
Okay, let's hear from you.
Yeah, I think the Cummings guy is not doing well. I think his statement could put on uprising because we already have an election commission, and it's too late for him to begin to argue that out. I think that should have been done. He can do as an opposition is to protect their votes. So that people are wealthy who are going to be there to monitor the votes. That is very, very essential because I will not rule out that President Weah is making attempts to rig the election. Why? Because I disagree with Mr. Ketel again that President Weah has followed the rules. He have not been able to follow the rules according to the law. There have been so many of our laws have been violated under this leadership. And that is the reason why the Liberian people cannot afford to have him for the second time.
What happened?
I got Ambrose on here. You want me to put it on?
Yeah, okay, 1 second. There's a caller here to 210 number 0098. Are you there?
Just hold on.
Yeah, hello.
Okay.
Yeah, hello.
Hello. Good evening. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you for the show.
Okay. Helena?
Yeah, Helena.
What?
I put my phone in my mouth.
Don't mind it, Papi. You're full of trouble. He put in a 4 year, 3 year to 9. I want to even more.
I already there. I already there. You just saying that they talking that.
Okay, welcome. Go ahead. What do you have to say?
I thought we had a discussion at the commission that was still the election. It moved to go to a silent voter go to steal the election. That man not going nowhere. When you see my market, I always say, I reckon they can jail some people that are in there.
Oh my goodness.
That man not going nowhere. Every day they get through the bomb, then you go say that, then when they throw it behind there, they say, oh, people hate it, man. People hate it, man. I mean, the same election that he win, they don't talk. That the same election commission and that the same election commission they will catch it. When they win that election, they were bunny. They were certified. Now it coming and say coming lost the election, he said, you now want the people there. Why is he sure of that? I gotta say, they're not going nowhere. They really lost in the election already. That's why he threw in bomb.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you for the show. But my uncle, don't put your phone in your mouth tonight.
I
think it's so pause. I think it's pause.
Yeah, what happened? There was a call. Hello, are you guys there now?
Let me take Ambrose then. Ambrose,
yeah,
go ahead.
Okay, after Ambrose will come by, got a call in.
Ambrose, are you there?
Okay, guys, please hold on, Terry.
Mr. Two, how you doing?
Ambrose, go ahead.
Yeah. Hi to everyone. Mr. So, it's been a long time hear your voice. You know, I've not been lucky to get you on the show, but how you doing? How's your family? But here's what I wanted to say. You know, I can't believe we now, at the 6th hour, we complaining about election commissioner when they have had so many other monitor so many elections, and we certify people. I think Belete not going to be happy with Mr. Cummings if he continues with that woman. Because Belete is the one that built that lady, which was supposed to go to jail in the 24 hours. He went and bail her on a bond. So coming to criticize her publicly, I don't think he's going to say well with Belete. And, you know, I don't know when the last time the prison, we need to be talking about the positive thing the government is doing. Because right now, in the prison, Morris Center prison, they get a ball water. Thank God to, I don't know, Mr. Gay, the new water manager. Well, you know, that's something that never happened in Liberia. People in prison, they get ball water. So that's all I wanted to say. You know.
Okay.
Thank you for the show.
All right, thank you. Let me come back here to the folks here. There's a 781 number here. Terry, are you there? You are carrying on. You want to wrap up at the corking and just put everybody on pause. Terry, are you still there? Terry? Oh, yeah. Oh, why is this thing going back again? 718 number. Okay. Hold on 1 second. I don't know why. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much. My name is. You're trying to call my name. Is report Gata.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, you're right. Glepo, I didn't even. Sorry if I mess it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Report. All right. So let me just get to the point. Thank you so much for taking my call. I want to talk about this election commission stuff. Okay. The appointment of election commissioners didn't start today.
Right.
Or coming up for this election. It was Samuel Doe. In the 1985 election, the new constitution, Samuel Doe insisted that he will appoint the commissioners. So because of that, it was put into the law that the president will appoint a commissioner, which wasn't fair because you cannot be a player at the same time you bring in your own referees. That was wrong. But nobody could say that because that time. So they aligned in the constitution. Now, after the war, Ellen came to power. When Ellen was leaving, Ellen made sure that the political parties had representatives on the commissioner. I mean, on the commission. She made sure that all the political parties had people on that commission to represent their interests. So we expected that George Weah will follow the same pattern, but he didn't do it. He appointed people on his own. He didn't allow the other opposition political parties to nominate people to be on that commission. Now, for the sake of peace, even though it is constitutional right, but for the sake of peace and transparency, they should allow them to nominate people to be part of that commission, because there are reports that some of the people that are CDC officials. They voted for CDC in the past. So to have them on the commission, it is a very serious problem. Somebody talk about, all elections, these people have been there and CDC have been defeated. Those were local elections. We're talking about presidential election that has the biggest weight upon the country. And not lawmaker election or senator election. No. We're talking about the presidency, which has the biggest say in the country, because Liberia has an imperial presidency. So because of that, we need to come to the point where we need to change this election law of Liberia, where the president cannot be running at the same time appointing commissioners.
Okay.
That is wrong, right? So they should change it. And then somebody said, well, these people were nominated and they were confirmed in the Senate. The opposition doesn't have the biggest number in the Senate. They are independent lawmakers in that Senate in the House of Representatives that don't say independent, but I will go with CDC because why they're taking brown envelopes. So
Glepoka,
no way.
So Glepoka, overall, were these people confirmed by the Senate?
Of course, they were confirmed by the Senate because CDC is in the majority, and the so-called independents who said the independent now played but it was CDC, so the opposition could not stop them. Right. But for fair play, look, the Bureau history of war and violence is with us. It has not left us. So when you are a president, you will consider everything. Don't always say, oh, this is my right. Because when you keep talking about your own right, you can make mistakes and things can go wrong. So George Weah shall follow Ellen Johnson him because of what Ellen Johnson did.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
George had the power. Thank you. But I mean, if anyone had to chief of one guy, she would have put people on a commission that would have turned things around. But she didn't do that. She allowed everybody, citizens have a representative on that commission.
All right, let's leave it there. Thank you so much. Let me bring in Amos Joyce, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me bring in Amos Joyce, and then the sister's still here. Our man, Kelter is still here. Amos Joyce, good evening, and let's welcome our viewer from Liberia this kind of money hour. Juliet Watt, thank you so much joining us from RIA. How we view it.
That's why you bring the last a travel. What you come tell me? I say, how you bring the last for almost telling me acknowledge me.
Oh, you see the number of plenty years. My glasses are not clean too. That the liberals are doing. Okay, Elvis, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I hope you guys are getting me.
Okay, so how many CDC people will recognize on the show tonight?
It's just for me.
I wanted to react too quickly. What do you mean by people voting for the national people on the National Election Commission voting for CDC so that should disqualify them? You got Supreme Court justices in the country who are open Republicans and support Republican nominees. You people go to court, will tell the justices, say you voted for Republican, you're not supposed to be judging on a case. It doesn't matter. The reason they pick those people is because they know they have integrity above their own self, their own political interests or their own political affiliation. That's why you pick them. Everybody is a political animal. Nobody you pick in that country who hasn't voted for a political party or political candidate before. So that thing that they're saying is all tabata. But let me talk about Mr. Cummings. Look, Cummings, I think he's showing himself to us to be, in the Bible they say the nation has spoke like a lamb, but later on it started to speak like a dragon. How he's talking now, you think you're talking Saul, like a soft-spoken guy, but now he's trying to be too forceful. It's the same own characteristic of him to be so forceful and using, tough languages. He did the same thing doing the July 26th, speech that he gave. He's not that guy. I keep saying it. You're not some kind of, so who can say like, bro, Barman Shanghai. Nobody afraid of you. So if you just come in trying to speak that way, people already will see that you got some dictatorial tendencies within you. You're a smart man, you get money, use your wits to go about it in a legal means to get the desired results. Don't come still on pulpit and try to talk, like a bully. You can't bully anybody in that country. Of all the candidates there, you have the least, militant people behind you. You're not a militant. So the whole speech of Cummings, I think he's showing that he has some dictatorial tendencies and we should be aware of it. Somebody like Gongo who's going about things the right way, establishing, awareness, the civic awareness program and things like that. He's taking actual steps. That's an intellectual. That's what intellectuals do. They use their brains to get the desired result. They don't stay on pulpit and try to be like Samuel Doe or try to be the child stealer. You're not those kind of people. You got the profile for it. So he needs to stop it. And the ANC people, they know they ain't got that kind of quality in them.
Okay.
When you want to do it, you talk about the CDC, you talk about maybe the MDR, and people that can be militant. But that company stop that kind of talk. It's not in his character to do so. Thank you for taking my call. Even though you let me on the line for 40 minutes, I'll forgive you for it.
Okay. You gotta throw it, yeah. All right. What views expressed on this network are views of the callers and their opinion, not the management and staff of the Liberia Public Radio. Amos George is spinning where he is doing research to give a hit back. Amos George, good evening. Welcome to the show. Let me introduce you into this phrase here. And the center of conversation this evening that the Liberal inserted into instead of things to Kura. This is the report from the front page. Cummings calls for transparent elections, express a lack of trust and confidence in the current board of commissioners at NEC. This is what coming from out of comments. We all been talking about elections integrity. We should respect the process. However, you can express your concern, but seeing what we want to see how come. But first of all, I believe you have seen this post from my front page, correct?
No.
Oh, you got it right?
Mr. So, you're not doing. If you're going to be reading it, you got to read the other part. Web.
I'm not. That's no.
I just
Hold on.
answered.
I'm just
I
asking.
never
I'm just
read it.
giving the news straight. Okay, I'm just giving the news straight. This the script here, the beat here captured everything that you want to say.
Okay.
He expresses lack of trust into the electoral process. That is enough to give you a clue what they are saying. Well, we can go back to it to find the pieces, but I just want him to. Now, if you have not read, I'm not sure. Do you want to react to it? Or based
No,
on what you hearing from the comments, or what are you considering?
I have not read the transcript in totality, so I cannot respond to it totally. What I can tell you is this. I don't know. Let me take you back to memory lane. On this very platform, were you not here when Professor Asise, Lapo Zawo, and myself, and on this platform, we were talking about doing Heather Brown? Were you not here?
We had a conversation.
Okay. And what that conversation centered around? It centered around the way she had handled past election. And Professor Zawo raised the issue that she was not competent to handle a bigger election. That's someone who is sedition and working today in the government. So why should they want to come as a surprise? And we'll get instances why we were saying it. We're not saying that she's not educated. We're talking about administrator, she cannot do the job. Because 30 days to resolve one election, it took her 90 days.
So the reason
it was not just one instance. It was instances that she did not handle it properly. It was particularly upon that when Professor Sawulu and you were on the same platform. We were occurring. We said this because of these things. So if Mr. Kumi raised the issue, I get that, but I don't want to comment because I didn't read it. I have not read the script. But I just trying to remind some people who are not on the platform at the time. Let me go to Mr. Malley. Mr. Malley, I don't know who you have on the ground in Liberia that gave you all these statistics. They had 30% of the vote have gone. 20% have gone from the area. I don't know where you got your statistics from, but I hope you could direct me to that path. The second one is for you to say, in other words, people should not raise any issue. If anything happens, Joe, I might just be president because you don't want no trouble. How sad it is for you to say that. Because you want peace. So every gavel, the Latino people must just accept it. Because that's what you say here. In other words, that for 5 million people to go into exile, you would prefer not 5 million people going to exile and let Joe, we are staying in the mansion. Why are you saying that to the Liberian people, Mr. Malley? Are you saying that the Liberian people should not have the voice to query anything, to ask, or to say something when it's not right? They must just accept it because they want peace? No. You people are some of the same people when the opposition put people in the street. Oh no, the people want to undermine the government. And it is enshrined within the Constitution. It is the people constitutional right at any time to assemble. So you can't have it both ways. You wanted this one, like, oh no, this one. When the opposition start putting people in the street, you're the same people. Oh no, they're not giving the government a chance. They want to undermine the leadership of the government. They want to move the men. But the same constitution says these people should have the right when they are not certified. So I don't know where you're coming from. With that kind of statistic you gave him, but I would want to get that from you. Then of course we can move from there. And I get the point. The legislature, maybe if I'm not mistaken, the Unity Party maybe at the time had the largest maybe group, but right now I think CDC maybe because many people have crossed over. But is there legislature elected that people can depend on to scrutinize people
for confirmation. When the issue said Wambodiki, the legislature did not, it was not the legislature that decided, oh, he's now a Liberian. It was we on social media that raised a serious alarm that brought Wambodiki to the point not to be confirmed. The legislature did not, it was not a will. It was not a will. They didn't just decide, oh, we'll do it because we know. No. It was the opposition and other citizens that raised the concern that he should not be. It was the pressure from the citizenry that made Wambodiki was not confirmed. But what the president did the president ever ask him to withdraw the letter? No. The president stayed, kept in his circle. And what the government did, after committing that crime, and the very CDC government went and gave him citizenship. So when we talk, we should try to look at issues. I know it is your right. If you want to support CDC, perfect. But the scenario that you draw here with no facts, maybe you have the facts, you can send it to me, but as far as I'm concerned, I have not seen it, so I will not consider it as a facts until you give it to me. To start making the analysis, then I wonder, where are we heading? Let me just close on anything. Because someone did not say anything today, and it is wrong, so you cannot speak on it again? No. You can't say because you sat down, it went, and today it's too late. No, you can't say that. So let me just close on about Mr. Male.
Okay.
And Mr. So, you will give me the information that I have that the legislature is transparent. You can give me those documents, let me see them. Just the LACC. Look at what they're doing. The name that they have sent on Senator Borchardt, he was sent a complaint. He said he walked up because they are not being transparent. What Abatia did, brought it vote on the floor. So you can see, to say that, oh, the legislature confronted, yeah. CDC are dominating the legislatures. The president pro tem is from CDC. The chairman of the executive, Sir Joseph, from CDC. So these guys are the ones that run the floor of the legislature.
Well, well, it's quite true. We have all of these conversations here, and this is why we are saying these political institutions, Alexander Cummings, Joseph Boyka, Benana Ure, Nyombi Kanga, all of these people, they had their political interest. They knew very well the danger, the potential danger ahead with all of this. What much was done? How much was done besides even the confirmation? And that's the system we have now. Once they confirm the presidential, the appointees, that it is why it is. However, those who even have much bigger interests at stake, these political parties, they know very well that these people, when they remain there, if there was any apprehension, what was their own fight? He has the right to say, I'm waiting to see what's going to be the recommendation or what they are going to say now. Are they calling for their withdrawal to put in new people?
No.
I'm not sure.
No,
okay, so we are waiting. That
would not work. So,
okay, so exactly. So what we are saying now, for they have to come forward from they should be coming from the surrogate, not then they knew. So all of these things here I have for them to say it now, it also undermines the credibility of the election.
Mr. So, it is not quite correct.
I have not read.
Not quite correct the statement you're making. If that is not what Cummings is saying,
it's not that. I don't know. You read it. You are. Let me
help you out. Mr. George, let me help you out a little bit.
Did he call for the removal of these people?
Mr. George, let me help you out a little bit since you're asking the question. He says here.
Is Mr. Paul recognized?
Yes, I am recognized.
He's the best reader here. So
okay, well, whatever. He alluded that it is the constitutional responsibility, Comey is saying now, of the Liberian leader to appoint commissioners of the National Election Commission. But opposition politicians should have been given the opportunity to nominate few of the commissioners, in keeping with the mandate from ECOWAS. That is a good practice that the opposition recommends some of the commissioners. The prior government of President Salim allowed opposition to nominate 3 of the 7 commissioners, including the current chairman. This lady was nominated by President Weah. That practice was mandated. And so there is a perception that the partisan commission, that these are partisan commission if you don't allow the opposition to do that. So while Kumi is criticizing, he's also being sympathetic with the president position, at the same time being patriotic to say these are things if we don't do, people will consider the election commissioner to be It's right there. It's right there. It's right there. I just read it to you.
That's not what we're saying. You're getting emotion into this whole thing here.
No, I'm not. I just read it to you. It's right there. Read it.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you this. If
Mr. Moderator, I gotta come in.
If that is the recommendation from ECOWAS, then let us be fair here. Why Mr. Comey, the opposition, did not raise that when people were nominated at the time?
And so they shouldn't raise it now?
No, they can say it, but the train has left the station.
That's fine, but we'll put it. Comey has put every one of us on record. That's what I've been saying all night.
Well, you don't want to put it on record because first of all,
you're talking about it. You're talking about it. You're on record.
That's what happened when you have people, leaders who are not proactive. When they are people who believes in obituary announcement. Why are you doing that? That's an obituary announcement. Male, go ahead so we can. We almost running out of time. Let me come to Sese and
Yes. Let's start with the Kumi issue. The thing Helen did, I call it a presidential practice. There is no law anywhere in the NEC constitution or in NEC bylaw or their procedure or policy that state that they had to pick people from opposition all over to make up the election commission. So what Helen did, it was a presidential gesture. So we cannot base on it to make an argument that George Weah must do it. At one point of correction. So George Weah, what he did, he has the right to appoint everybody. President Helen Johnson said he was just doing what I call that was just a presidential gesture for maybe the hostile, but there are no law or rule that say it should be that way. 1, 2. I'm so happy today that John T. Eastman, the guy who shot the 11 people from California, Pittsburgh, had just been awarded the death penalty, something that should be heading to Liberia for armed robbers and rapists and the other group. I just want to make that announcement. Coming to say the issue of my percentage allotment. We all have eyes to see, and I want for Pa George to open his ears and hear Mr. Sisi. From the court of public opinion in Liberia, in conjunction with my subjective analysis, following the events and trends in Liberia.
It's not
it's subjective, so that
I try to make my point clear because I don't want for Pa George to say I'm manufacturing stories. I repeat, from the court of public opinion, events unfolding in Liberia, in conjunction with my subjective analysis, I strongly believe that the LP fragmentation is almost 30% victory for President Weah.
So Male Jones.
I come in now. No, let me finish. Pa George can't hold my legs again.
No, Pa George will not hold you. I just want to. Now, you as an analyst, the audience, the viewers also rely on you to provide objective analysis. So why would you want to be subjective?
Oh, Mr. Moderator, it's not one-way traffic. Subjectivity and objectivity work hand in hand. Yes. They work hand in hand.
We get a lot of, we get the folks on LPR.
Yes.
Yeah, this is getting to be interesting.
So the 20% failure of UP to build coalition has given another victory to Georgia. And the 10% fragmentation in the CPP rank and file, okay, has given a 10% victory to Georgia. And the 15% of the opposition overall cloud are hanging on their head with their messaging has given 15% victory to Georgia. These are subjective analysis
But then the
based
election is over.
coming from the court of public opinion with unfolding events in Liberia.
What is that public opinion?
The court of public opinion?
Give an example.
Okay, example. There's an unfolding event in Liberia. There's a wave of consensus that the opposition have performed poorly. Their messaging is poor. Therefore, subjectively, we can conclude that it is in Georgia's interest.
Mali.
No. You asked me a question.
Hold on 1 second. We're not going to create a dialogue. Let me come to the folks on the line on the phone yet. Sissy, are you still there, Keto? Sister Keto, are you there?
I am still here. I'm listening to Mr. Mali's subjective statistics. I don't have that.
I tell you.
Okay. So first and foremost, even as so many people, you guys pick your side, which you have the right to do. But here we at the Mali June, he has gradually, to some extent, and let me be subjected to what he's saying here. It looks like he has adopted the style of the liberal. He's involved, he's unbalanced, he's unstable. He's using his own word now today. This is getting to be very scary into radical democratic and all of these sort of stuff here. This is coming a little bit scary. Keto, let me bring you in here. Should we be subjective here in our analysis? That's part of our people's support for political institutions. Does that favor any good for our audience? Would that be, will we sound credible to them? We want to be subjective in our argument?
I don't think he was wrong. I think all of our analysis is subjective. It's not objective. If you want to put it in a public opinion, right? They will determine, what is true or what is not true. But we go out there with information that we think, they are credible to our audience or credible to us, and we put it out there. We put our knowledge out there too, so people can understand. Is it subjective? Is this 1 + 1 is 2 in the eyes of the public opinion? Well, and that's for the people that are consuming it. And like we do here, we come up with information, you come up with information, they come up with information. Somebody from the CDC who says it does not support will say, no, it's not correct. So I think he was right in that direction to say, and it's good that he made that a disclaimer that he did subjective. Yeah, so it left for public to scrutinize his information and consume it. But at the same time, I think he was being hypothetical when he used percentage. I don't think those percentages are scientific. Percentages are scientific. So I think he was using it for people to understand to the level or to an extent where this president is gaining momentum because of the crisis in the opposition or the dysfunction in the opposition. And so I think I will give him a pass. But let's face reality here.
Thank you, Mr. Keto.
Let's go back to this the conversation of the integrity of this commission and whether it is right or the people that the president appointed. The president did not break any law. The president acted within the scope of the law. He has the right to appoint. He appoints, and it is at the prerogative of the legislature to confirm. The legislature got a lot of opposition in there. And if they find out that this president's appointment is not in line or is something that is, like it smells fishy, they can say no, like they did to Zolizo, like they did to Norman Didi and other people. They can say no, we cannot just go back because they have no integrity. But they scrutinize these people using the word of, I think it's Mr. George. They scrutinized them. They went through the process of all the different things they did, and they said, okay, you are qualified to hear this commission. In the middle, in fact, before they give, minutes to the start, and then somebody else crying foul, I think it just show weakness. It just show that I got no grip. I can win. So I must throw these things out there. So just in case they whip me massively, I can see the election was not free and fair.
Okay, let me
And
break in.
that's danger of our democracy.
Okay, let me break in, Sissy. Sissy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm saying that.
Mr. Goya. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's bring you in here. Keto has given his political weight to Marley Jones. Jones has also reciprocated to say thank you, forming coalition here in his argument here. Let me just bring you in here. Should we be subjective in as much we pick a side and people look to us to provide some directions and be factual on the information that we are putting out there? Or is a combination of both?
The main tactics, right? That the radical Democrat. We have to be subjectively objective. You cannot come on this platform and say based on information in the media that you cannot quantify for us. Then you quote a specific number, 20% of it.
No correction. I didn't say from media.
Let him finish.
No, I said from court of public opinion. No. I not get a record straight.
Yeah, okay, you can. Don't worry. It's a level.
He's taking the record.
No, I said from court of public opinion in conjunction with my subjectivity.
Both of those things are not.
No. I decide the weight of these things. You can decide that. Just give your analysis.
Let's not try to fool in a brempo. When I go down in the road, you're not lucky. You cannot come and use court of public opinion and your subjection, and then come up with a hard number and say 20% of this. That was wrong. It was wrong intellectually. It is wrong factually. You know that. So don't try to wiggle yourself around.
No, it wasn't wrong. It wasn't wrong.
So give us the data now. If it wasn't wrong, give us the data.
I told you, I said from a subjective analysis. What data you want?
But Marley, do you know your subjective analysis can be dangerous also?
No. It left for those who consuming this information to digest it in the direction they want.
Hold on 1 second.
No, you can't tell me it's wrong. You can't tell me that.
I'll come in 1 second. Sissy, I'll come in 1 second. Now, just how we hold national leaders accountable in their actions, in their doing, in things that they tell us, and we go back to verify those information. And this is why people, they just take the word sources. Yes, you can use it, but you must have at least 3 sources that correlate with what you're going to be saying. I don't think it is the responsibility. If we want to be an LPR, I can decide to support Gonglo, the president, this, but we must be factual. But if you are propagandists and you want to, like Prince Johnson and create another type of propaganda, which is, I know that's not part of something he make up yet, I don't think we should be subjective in our argument on this network. That would be a big deceit and a big breach to our audience. Yeah.
For me, it's the
I disagree with you, Mr. So you can't say that.
You can use
a lot of time you analyze on this platform subjectively, a lot of things. So you can't say that. Subjectivity and objectivity working in here, depending on your message.
Let me add one
depending on your message.
I think
you see what has happened about Kumi right now. It was subjective.
I think the fact that Malice came up to say that this is his subjective information. I think we should accept that he's not hiding himself. He's telling us what the opinion is coming from and what the opinion is about.
No.
You can't hold people to
No, Sissy. No, Sissy. You can't say that.
Excuse me, guys. Excuse me, guys.
Like it was a statistical fact.
No, Sissy cannot be judgmental here on this issue. It left with those who consuming this information to decide.
I am consuming it.
No. But then if you consuming it, you
hold on, guys.
You cannot pass judgment. I told you this thing is subjective. So why are you talking about?
Okay. We're not going to have an argument back and forth. That's just been a little bit too...
just said it. It left with those who consuming the information.
I listened clearly.
Yeah.
I didn't interrupt.
So, ladies, listen.
Mr. Mali got to respect that.
We have to do it one at a time.
No, Sister cannot tell me emphatically.
Listen, guys, hold on. I don't want us to do this.
Sister can do her analysis. He cannot impose his view on me.
It doesn't mean when he opposes it, it doesn't mean you should accept it. What you say
You're creating a very bad scenario. We can't do that. I can't allow that to fly.
No, it's not a matter of you are lying. You say something I can agree with you or disagree. So you can't also bend my head. So let's do it one at a time.
No, he a passing judgment.
No, yeah, but
I did not pass judgment yet. I told you this is a subjective analysis. I just told you. So what's the big deal about this?
No, listen. We shouldn't do this. If you give my connotation, my understanding of you providing something objective when we in this sort of national public conversation, then of course it's a hair scratching for the audience. So I have my version. It's not a matter of you saying no. You don't have to agree. You say yeah.
It left for you consuming the message. It left for you.
Yeah, but support the way he consumed. If he's trying to say, you say no.
If I were giving you objective analysis, you can hold my legs to the fire.
Okay.
I'm not giving you objective analysis. I said subjective analysis. What's the passing judgment on this?
Male, hold on one second. You spoke your mind. Hold on 1 second. You spoke your mind. Let him speak your mind. You don't have to respond. You stand your ground. You want to stand your ground like a Floridians. That's okay. Can you make a point?
I will make it statistics.
No. Let you go ahead.
Make your point, and then I think Keto done already before we.
So I'm here. Yeah, Keto wouldn't agree to anything. Like I said.
You see, okay. He be subjective on Keto just now.
I'll tell Mali say you are not going to say anything again.
When Mr. Mali
go ahead.
The initial presentation was 20% LP voted. He did not say that it was subjective. He said that when you start quoting percentage, it is no longer subjective. Now we need to see the data. If you say some LP people or more LP people without quoting a number, once you quantify it, then we got to see the data. And you can't come back after we push you, you say subjective. They say objectivity and subjectivity going here and here. How does that make sense? We cannot come on this platform and try to control the great people. Let's not do that, Mr. Mali. I can come here and say there are anecdotal evidence that suggests that because we will win. That is anecdotal. I cannot come and say that the 9.2% of the people vote over there. People want to see the data. Because that is no longer anecdotal, it's no longer subjective. And that's why you put your phone. You did not in your original presentation say this was my belief. You made it sound like it was a hard fact. And that's what we said. Ask the question in the chat and on the show. So let's be fair to the great people. We cannot be saying that politicians come and don't tell the people the truth, and then we as analysts sit on this platform and just splitting numbers. For me, I will not allow that.
Okay, so we try to do it here differently, and everybody have the right to do it. So just how we hold people accountable to the care gotta eat baby, and this is why people you see they will use word it appears it is they use some word to leave a room of their argument. But if I come here and say, oh, the election 2010, George, we are gonna win it, somebody gonna ask me how are you coming up with this? What is the evidence?
30 seconds on your time. 30 seconds.
No, that you and Sissy can trade in town and something too. I don't trade in town with.
I give them my last 20 seconds. I use all my time. Give my last.
No, Sissy, I think you got no watch on you, Sissy.
Are you in Connecticut the evening, Sissy?
No, my own Eastern time.
Oh, I thought you in Canada. Okay.
He tested me something I really wanted.
Oh, he's okay. Look at him. He always like to find some sort of opening. Okay, guys. We have 15 minutes to go here. I think it was good conversation. Sometimes hair button gotta go, and that's the whole thing about these people. You guys protecting their own known and unknown alligator. We saw Mali here this evening coming up with his things that are parallel moving together, which is okay. So I don't know who is he trying to protect here. Yeah, but Keto, come in here a little bit. Because I wanted to talk, I want us to talk about this Prince Johnson tip. Say what?
Yeah, go ahead, talk about it. Yeah, I want to listen to that. That's what I'm trying to say.
What you want to listen to?
To what Mali and go ahead.
What you say you want to listen to? You on the line, so I can't.
You want to talk about the Prince Johnson?
Yeah, but the phone. You're on the phone now, so there's no way the line is you guys on the line. But I mean, people listen to it for the most part. I think the best person to pull it. Liberal, have you had a chance because they put our audio in the car room?
No, I haven't had it, but that's okay. Let's try it. I can find an opinion. I can find a subjective opinion. I can form a subjective opinion.
The two old people on in the platform here it's a real problem. My goodness, bro, we inside. Jesus. Okay, before we go, it's 9:47. How far are we? Who have the last bullet point? Something perhaps they wanted to bring into the conversation, and then time just.
Well, I just want to go first because I'm going to be leaving here very shortly. But Mr. So, on a very serious note, I think what we witnessed tonight with Sisi, Goya, and Mr. Mali is very interesting, and is example of a platform that is not dominated by one individual, that is not dominated by one particular person ideas. And then I think it's, as a liberal, I think this is a good way of having conversation. They are both picking their points, standing their ground, but very respectful in their deliberation. And right. I think it's healthy, I would say. Lastly, the point about me bringing this issue with Comey and the point of this election commission, I don't believe that Comey or even myself is trying to degrade the election commission or even accuse him then of whatever the misbehavior, whatever it is. The point here is this thing has been done in the past. As Mali correctly stated, perhaps President Salif did that from a political goodwill, so to speak. President, we don't have to do that. However, as Comey correctly suggested, that if those things are not happening, you have done it before, you yourself in opposition appointed election commission. And yet your time now, you're not doing that. Then people might perceive it as being a policy election commission, which I agree with. However, I think the president has a right to appoint, and he has done so. So I also agree with you guys. I'm not here to eat crow, but I will let you say yes. I agree.
You're eating it intelligently. It's understandable.
Not eating crow. Wait a minute. Wait. You want to throw in my face anyway? I will agree with you. I'm very truthful. I will agree with you guys that these things did not happen overnight, and the opposition all sat, instead of fighting among each other, going to court. If they had paid attention to these little stuff and start talking about it long ago, perhaps they would have gotten something. But I also say, by bringing this up, not necessarily seeking immediate resolution, however, to put all Liberians on notice and put himself on record. I rest my case. And I will say,
don't go. Don't do that. Listen now. We listen to you. Why your colleagues can't make their own argument before you go? So which good now you're going with? But what you left out on purpose, you did not do your job, because you should have blown this trumpet knowing the fact that you support somebody to align, but instead you didn't do it, and you are walked back eating crow intelligently. It's accepted. Keto, what's your final word?
Yes, sir. So this the thing here. Let me just go back to Mr. Mali and my own brother said that texted me or something. So this the thing here, right? You see, when people, I'm talking in terms of Mr. Mali conversation. When you alter subjection in your conversation, or when you be subjective in your conversation, you open up the door box for people to analyze and come back at you. So it you won't be subjective. You say 1 + 1 is 2. Nobody can argue 1 + 1 is not 2. But when you be subjective, and then where CC came from that angle, they say your subjectivity, is questionable. And then when you were, importing his own idea, you can come up with figures to say 10%, 20%, and knowing that public consumption. I mean, the people that consume this information, they are somehow gullible. I don't like to use it, but it's the reality. They are somehow gullible. They're going to be like, okay, so President we got 30% of the population within the opposition because of the crisis. Those figures are not actual figure. It's something you put out there, but you're trying to say you can't put out there because you have no data. What's the data? And I agree with him. But on the scene, in the same vein, I can see what you were actually saying. I said it on this platform before. Because of the dysfunction in the opposition, it would give President Weah a good leverage to winning this election. I mean, it would be almost like a free ride for him, because now some of the Liberian people that were in opposition when President Weah won the election, that gained confidence after Mr. Costa, who said he revived the opposition, many political parties in UP, and they were happy. They brought Darrell Dillon to office and all the other things. They have started to realize that, look, okay, these people are not real. These people cannot even hold together. They can't hold an organization or opposition together to even go against this man. So why should we waste our time behind them? They are the angel that we have not seen. So it's better to be with the devil that we know, our Liberian cliche. Now, so I think this is where we all having this conversation. But let me go to the election commission again, because I want this thing to sink in the Liberian people's heads, right? Or Mr. Cummings, who went to or going to ECOWAS to make a claim there. The fact that President Weah has the power to appoint, and it's illegal in our country. Illegal in our country. It's legal in the Constitution. They gave him the power to appoint. It also gave the legislature power to examine or scrutinize those people the president appoint that are supposed to go through confirmation or whatever. They deny. So if the legislature that comprises of oppositions, ruling establishment, independence, or whatever can pass these people, mean the people are clear to go and work. So at this point, for a political leader, I think it's just a smoke screen for something that he has under his sleeves again. So I want Liberian people to understand the president has violated nothing. He did his job, and there's nobody can say President Weah any election.
Thank you so much, Keto.
Under his administration, that all the elections conducted, the opposition won it, he conceded, and it was free and fair.
Thank you so much. Let me bring it. All right. Okay. Let me bring it. Sissy, your final word. Mr. Goya.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sorry, I was doing something else. So I listened to my brother Keto. Keto, the cash out, they say you requesting money instead of sending the money. So you got to send instead of requesting money. They give us some more money. So on a serious note, don't mind. On a serious note, look, President Sirleaf did certain things magnanimously. It does not straitjacket President Weah or any other president to do the exact same thing. This is where I always come from with when Liberian presidents do things and they don't codify it in law. and you want to hold people to the same standard. It's the same thing when I talk about the free tuition thing. Let's qualify that in law. Because there will come a president one day that will say he or she doesn't want it. And we can't say, oh, because the president we have provided it, so you're taking that away. Let's qualify it in law. I will agree with Keto, which is seldom. Dr. George Manowia has violated no laws in Liberia. No law with respect to the Election Commission. He submitted a group of people he felt were qualified that could do the work transparently. The Senate was supposed to do its due diligence, and I am not going to say yes, they didn't do this. Even though some people are asking if some of the people can cope and not sue correctly. For them, that was what mattered to them for transparency. We in the opposition bloc, or people who opposed the George Weah presidency, did work in getting Wambadiki to not be appointed to that commission. Why didn't we do the same work for other people to not be confirmed? The Senate has done its job and has confirmed these people. I am not saying that there should not be a check and balance after they've been confirmed. My point here is to assume that there will be a problem without evidence is the problem itself. These people have been confirmed. If they start to take actions that look like they will be biased, then let's have the conversation. But to run from Liberia directly to ECOWAS with an assumption, it's almost like you started to date this woman, and you even found no evidence that she ain't like you. You start saying, oh, they almost three around me, or she would cheat on me. You start calling her family people to come to judging case about her propensity to cheat on you. There have been elections here since George Weah and the CDC came to power. Not all of them have been peaceful. We saw what happened with Terry and you and other people. But nobody has ever come out to accuse the George Weah government of ever stealing an election. So let's be mindful. Let's not create a situation like we did in the United States with the January 6th happening and people perpetually not believing that somebody won an election. Our democracy is not strong enough to withhold that. We have to point out when things are wrong, when commissioners do things wrong, we have to point it out, and it's within Mr. Commission's right to point those out. But the assumption that a wrongdoing will happen before it's happened, I have a fundamental problem with that. And I think that we can discuss these things without every time going to ECOWAS and every time going to other people and say, oh, my wife will cheat on me tomorrow, when she has not shown you that she will cheat on you.
Thank you so much. Okay, let's go back on the smoke screen here. Jones Otavia Malice standing his ground this evening. Amos George on the other end. The Liberal is drawing big time this evening here. Let me go to Joan Malice. What are we taking home?
Well, first of all, I want to take my hats off to Analysis and by George and Ketor for their analysis. Try to wake up.
So
and Mr. Toll.
Oh, you forget me?
Oh, sorry. Try to wake up. Yes, try to hook him. Try to wake up to make some analysis on my presentations with reference to my subjective analysis. You see, this platform is based on maturity, it's based on professionalism, and we are here to hold each other accountable when things are going wrong. So I hereby withdraw my subjective percentage.
Listen, Bravo, listen, who got it?
I'm staying on the platform. I hereby withdraw my subjective percentage.
Male is the liberal.
I will take on that subjective tomorrow.
Yes. We must base. We have said this platform is based around maturity, professionalism, and objectivity.
Right.
And if we are panelists are prepared to eat our own children and prepared to hold each other to standard, then we should be prepared to surrender when we see error.
Right.
this is the difference we made with other platforms. Other platforms allow egotism, proudness to ruin their professional platform. And I'm laying this example to say that this is one feature that makes us distinct. And I extend my apology to all panelists. Secondly, unconfirmed report coming from Liberia have suggested that the court of public opinion is in a direction
Mali, you're killing me tonight.
What? Of George Weah.
You're coming another
this,
Lord Jesus.
Come back to respond.
Yes, and therefore this unconfirmed, but this court of public opinion unfolding events in Liberia suggests, however, they are not confirmed that there's something is moving in the direction of George. We are based on the alleged output of opposition poll performances.
There you go.
Back to the issue. This is what the platform is about. Nobody is above the foundation and the respectability of the platform.
Absolutely.
And lastly, on the issue of Kumi, I want to say objectively here that Kumi had just set a time bomb so that tomorrow in the future, if things doesn't go the ANC way, he will say, I told you people that the election commission were A, B, C, and D. And for this one, I stand my ground on it. Thank you.
When the men come back.
No.
Don't start trouble here. The men,
let me borrow this is my 2 minimum time.
My brother from Lofa County, I bow my intellectual knees to you. You see, it takes somebody who understands what it means to correct in our political dispensation Liberia. So when we die on our hill, knowing that they're supposed to make correction and go in the background and come out there and forget about it. But my brother, what you've done here today is akin to what we said to one Bongo day when we went to CDC headquarters. It doesn't mean you are less of an intellectual. As a matter of fact, in my mind, as a researcher, you, my brother, I put you on a pedestal tonight.
You want recruiting now to Gonglo?
So thank you. No, it's not. This is no joke. Thank you. And that is the reason for those people who are listening. This man and I will be on my show. We'll be discussing. And
yeah, you go with your kumbaya stuff. You go with your kumbaya. I'm not in that. Tomorrow,
Liberal, you disrupting, please.
Okay. Tomorrow, I'm taking the subjective part of it. It's gonna be mine.
You need to discuss about the tip. About Mali being subjective, we're done with that. Amos Joyce, come.
Yeah, let me say thank you to Mr. Mali. But this is why we say the platform is different. I remember I said something one time, Mr. Soul, something to say then came after me, and I did this thing. I said I misspoke. I apologize. But this is what we do here. This is what we do here. And as Sister said, I take my hats off to you, and this is what we should continue to do. Because we don't want to grow our own alligator, then it try to eat us. No.
Right.
So when we say something here, when we know that it's maybe a little bit out of line, we'll come back and say, hey, we're holding you responsible. And this is what makes this platform authentic. Because it's not, oh, Mali is my friend, this is not, We want to make it flat on this place here. Having said that, what those people who saying that person we are going to win this thing, that's their opinion, that's their view. But I always say to the Liberian people, just ask yourself, your condition is it better than before? If it's okay, it's like George Weah. But I have seen photos from the July 26th in the markets, the marketeers. If those marketeers speaking, it's from the bottom of their heart, then I think I'll find it a little bit difficult for a person we have to be elected second term. Because those people speaking on camera, not censored, women and men telling you this, the economic situation of the country. So if they will leave that and vote person, we are okay. And let me say this, Mr. Mali, Mr. Cummings will accept the outcome of the election in Liberia.
Thank you.
2017, he did not say the election was rigged, this and that. There was a problem. They went to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court ruled, yeah, there was a problem, but it was not enough to overturn the result. They all accepted it, and today we are in another election. After almost 6 years of going to another election. So I just want to make it clear: if anybody wins this election, Mr. Comey, the CPP, the ANC will accept that result. He's not laying no ground to say this and that. He's speaking because of the gesture that Madam Sally made at the time politically to include opposition, but constitutionally, it wasn't right. It was a political will she did it. A person where doesn't do it, person where not broken no law. He uphold the Constitution that gave him the right to nominate, and the Senate confirmed. So what Mr. Cummings said there, I would just consider as a view, but person where hasn't done anything, and he did not. Person where has not done anything to break the law. So I just want to make that clear.
Your time is over.
The last one I want to make.
You're gonna give me about
every country,
1 minute, please.
Every country, they have fragment of opposition.
We're talking about violence. You want to apply violence?
Every country have fragment of violence. Political differences, opposition differences. So nobody can just come up to conclude that because of the fragmentation maybe of this group in the political situation in the country, that the incumbent will just win.
Right.
If it was 2017, I would have said, yeah, because Joe, he had no record to defend. But now he has a baggage.
So, Mr. Judge, yield to me here for one second, please. Let me read this. Let me read it. Thank you, Mr. Judge. From the Independent Pro newspaper, the question was asked, which political party do you support? George Manuel Weah, according to the statistic from this is not subjective. This is something from the newspaper. George Manuel Weah, 20%. UP, Ambassador Bakat, 38%.
I know.
Honorable Cummings, ANC, 53%. Tewan Gonglo, LPP, 4%. MPC, Samuel Freeman, 17%. Others, 2%. I thought I put that in there.
What survey did they use to arrive at those scientific figures?
That's what I want to ask you.
Not the kind of question that you asked me.
No, you're going now. You've got to
do you want to go and investigate the newspaper?
That's your job.
I'm giving you the information. If you want anything other than, I gave you the name of the newspaper, I gave you the question they asked, and so if you want to go anything beyond that,
you didn't tell us any question.
You should have done your homework in the first place to know to tell all the survey source on this information.
Give me F, Professor.
Guys, let's do it this way. Thank you. He wants to. This woman here every night he.
I said the question. They said which
Mr. Cesar just said this thing here. We can't read into the public.
What do you mean? It's coming from a newspaper. We just read.
You say every newspaper.
The newspaper because not in your favor. The reading here. Front page you accepted. Man, I beg you, man.
A scientific thing, either from survey or
guys,
interview
all right.
Or
night.
telephone
I
call.
finished reading it.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Look, guys, thank you so
You
much.
put your hair my legs to the fire here. Now you're bringing information for the people to consume. That's not right.
But for me, I don't eat crow.
So
The
Mary,
crow stay there.
you already retracted and say, so don't can argue on it at all. But we're gonna hold the labor we apologize. Trust me or not. That's what he's saying. He did that the other day.
Yeah.
The paper said when you put in paper, you also want to validate. You need to do a follow. Don't just grab paper, say
You said what the name of the paper?
Well, remember
The Independent Pro newspaper.
This is it, man.
That those numbers you put out there. What is the details of the number? How to gather those information?
Let me say this again. They ask a question. I'm not here to tell you whether they did it through phone process. They asked a question.
No,
I'm just reading it to you.
Okay. When you come tomorrow, when you alone on your Tabata, then you go ahead and the people will judge you for that. Okay.
Yeah.
Since you want to be grabbing trash all around here, who are those people to talk to? What's the base of what
you never heard the independent, but when Samuel told them when they took our $25 million and put people say they give it to X, Y, and Z, you said nothing. You said nothing, but because I can't read newspaper, now you're gonna say something.
You need to undo your emotion into this national conversation. It's not right, and that's why.
Mr. So the night is fast spent.
Yeah,
thank you very much for having me. Don't come on my show tomorrow. Just stay on your side. I stay on my side. Thank you.
All right. If I have the time, I will come. If you kick me out, then you show yourself to the audience too as well. So if the ball is in your court to do what it is. Okay, guys. Bye-bye. Guys, thank you so much. Bye-bye. Okay, Amos George, to all our viewers, listeners, we want to thank you so much for your time, for your commitment to this network. And that's exactly what we do here. Sometimes we hear but it is what it is. We always frown on politicians, national leaders who are not willing to take responsibility, who are not apologetic. Instead, they are defiant in their positions. That is wrong. And I think Mr. Jones did a great thing here tonight. Whether you support a person, once you are an analyst, you are also on an obligation to provide factual information. And that is in the heading of our program. Fair, balanced, and proportional. You can't just grab things without you, who wants to talk about it, to validate, to even place 1 to 2 calls where that information coming from. Anybody can write anything. Anybody can say anything. Does that makes it correct? Absolutely not. So we need to also fact check things that we're going to be putting out. And if we go wrong, I remember in a case when Sister said here, the Senate here, the people, you can't be, it's against their law. You can't be a senator or a lawmaker here to be a lobbyist. No. We came back here, we said, no, he misspoke. That was not what he meant to say. Ted Cruz is not a lobbyist. When you do that, trust me, you'll be in pain. You even go to jail. That's a federal crime. You can't be a sitting lawmaker to be a lobbyist. No, you can't do that. So it is what it is. You can't sit behind the microphone unless you are propagandist, unless you are somebody but where you want to share quality news content, you can't be subjective, because it undercuts your argument, your discussions in national discourse. Even there's a way you can polish, you can retweet when something is going against a political direction, but to come and just throw stuff out there to people, I think that's just not right. Folks, I want to thank you so much. This is what we do here, and we have to do it. Because when we are asking our leaders to be credible, to be factual, to be honest, what's about all who are the town criers to this national conversation? Should we have a set rule from that of you, the viewers, the audience, the listeners, and then have a different rule for leaders? That is unfair. And I know that's something a difficult thing. And I know people's personal feelings and emotions always play out into this national conversation, especially we are in the height of this high tension-packed political race, both the presidency and the first branch of government. We want to thank you so much. John, the Liberal tomorrow, the Liberal Progressive, you will be here with this conversation with Samson Tour as usual at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Folks, we want to say thank you, Terry, and all of our folks, Blade, Carter Johnson, Allison, Mr. Boy, Eric Gay, of course, Madam Herent, Comfort Henrys, and all of you great people to throw content there from the oil area way there. If this is your first time on this network, we say you are wholeheartedly welcome. We throw a rare carpet welcome. However, sometimes our thoughts, our conversations will not suit your political taste. We are not here to entice, to entertain you. The entertainment in the political discourse is just way over the roof. No need of all adding insults to injury. We should have national conversations. We should be able to be honest. We should be honest. And if we misspoke, we, as facilitator who wants to hold people accountable, we must have that guts, that bravery to come to say yes. Little emotion kick in, little sentiment kick in. And so this is what I say, what I say. And that's a great thing Mali did here tonight. Everybody, all of us on this network here, no hey, no tay. We all at an equal level, except 1 or 2 persons serve as a moderator. But even at that, there's a mutual respect for one another. I'm not going to throw anybody behind the screen or remove anybody or sanction anybody from speaking. All we want to do is to speak one at a time so that we will understand and so that it will be a respect for you. You take off your precious time, 2 hours, to listen. So we can come here and have it all in noise. What is your takeaway? What are you going to say? What happens on LPR tonight? Most of you, your comments, your tweet, your interaction always edify us. Every night I goes back to this tweet line to read every comment. And it can be a new lesson to learn. The interactions, the agreement and disagreement, the points you put in through, how persuasive you want to be to the other person expressing his or her opinion. And more importantly, it's always done in a safer context where there's no insult, but you are making an arguable point based on what you know, what you feel, and your passion for your candidate. If our politician, we in the media industry, but again, there are a lot of people. There are some there for political purposes, and there are some there who have in this as a profession. So it is hard, and we know how convoluted and polarized the media industry has become, not just only in the laboring community. If you are news freak like myself who monitor different news outlets, Sierra Leone to Nigeria, different outlet, the conversations is just the same. We just need to exercise that political tolerance and be cognizant of the fact that we must allow people to express their views and opinion. That doesn't make it a fight. But let's hear it from them. Let them get it out. It is more dangerous to get an outburst. And those outbursts usually comes about when you begin to sanction people. You don't want to listen to people, but you want people to listen to you. Even I don't care how it sounds ugly. Allow the person to speak. And you can use their own word to persuade them, to convince them, to bring them to a negotiation table and be able to point out the wrong to your own observations of what they are saying. Again, the issue, the president has done nothing wrong. In politics, you cannot base your judgment on assertions, assuming Mr. A, Madam B did it 2-3 years ago, and so I'm going to do it or you're going to do it. That was an assumption. That was an assertion. That's something that just thought, okay, because they are happy, it's going to happen. We need to have politicians who will be proactive, who will forecast things that will happen, the danger or things that will happen in 2-3 years. Do not be a politician who wants to manage crisis, because we are not good. Politicians are not good to manage crisis. This is why day one, some of us start speaking. Even when we see people that document together, we say, no, this document is not a reflection of the Liberianization policy. It leaving other people out. And other people took offense, and other people think we were being antagonistic or we did not like what they were doing. But we forecast 4 months, 1 year, 3 years, 2 years. At the end of the day, something going to happen. And it was saying that exactly the train, that political train to derail. Is because those things they put together, they were not calculative, they didn't take their own time, probably it was on emotion or happened at that time, and they thought they could find an immediate solution. This is why you see these people here, they always have public relations consultant. Not that they don't know, but they look for people who will be very critical in their analysis in things that they're going to put forward. Our politicians don't want that. No. Anything comes out of them, you must accord, you must agree with them. So once you have a different view, different opinion, you are being antagonized, and somebody who wants to get a political favor, oh, this person is not one of us, this person, this is why he or she has been saying. For this reason, our leaders are we're going off track. Why it is true Mr. Cummings is addressing this, I thought my own judgment, he, as a major stakeholder, this is something that could have been expressed before, and there could be a roundtable conference. But for a major state actor to come out to say that there will be the election or no trust in people who are facilitating, who are going to be conducting this election, it speaks to the volumes of some other news like soundbite that the election will be rigged, the election will be rigged, election will be rigged. That's not what we should be talking. We can be talking about those issues that could be a potential problem, but to make a definitive position that indeed election going to be rigged, then the question becomes, what happens if the opposition wins the election? Should that election result not be validated by the ruling establishment? So let us not create something that we cannot even manage as well. We can have a dialogue, we can have a national conversation, we can point out those issues that we think are potential problems for free and fair, for the conduct of free and fair election. But for leaders to come out to be definitive that they do not have trust in the process, that they will be participating, speaks the volumes that their surrogates, their supporter, that's another way to poison the minds, and that could lead to potential to violence, because something is built in war that you cannot undo. We're saying that here, and we saw what happened with January 6th here, because a leader said here publicly that the election were going to be rigged, that they were going to cheat, that the election is not credible, that people were doing X, Y, Z. And the people, based on that, listening to their political leaders, what happens was an insurrection on the Capitol, ever first in the history of this country, all because they try to appease their political leader. That's how dangerous it becomes when leaders make careless statements without taking into consideration there could be a long-term repercussions or consequences of your statement. You don't just make it because you want to appease or you want to be seen as a strong person. And this is why you see today there are some people still strongly believe that the electoral process here was rigged, it was not free and fair, and he trumped the rigged election out of him. And that's why some people still not even considering Joe Biden to be the president. That is because it came from their leader. A leader must lead. You can't be a leader and people lead you. Then you are not a leader. And this is why we must hold our people accountable. Being a leader requires you to make some tough decisions, decisions that will alienate your base, that people will even go against you. But you must stand your ground. But these political decisions are dangerous, and that's not something we must encourage. I want to thank you so much for your time this evening. Sometimes we get above the speed limit. Like God bless Liberia. Until then, have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye. Like I said, I'm a traditionalist. I believe in the songs of Liberia. This is a gospel song by Minister Alice Nguyen, based in Baltimore from the southeastern South from Grangeville County. She's telling us, let's take this law and give it to God. These politicians, they can't take the law of Liberia. The lies, the deceit, the hypocrisy, everything. Let's take the law of good governance, transparency. Let's give it to the Lord. You know, there are different types of law. The lie one, the stealing one, all kinds of types.